Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time, and many believe he's a top 10 NBA player ever. This is the story of his unusual path to the league and how he transformed from a skinny, unranked high school player into an all-time great. Steph was born in Akron, Ohio, in the same hospital as LeBron James. His father, Del Curry, played for the Cavaliers, and from a young age, Steph dreamed of playing in the NBA. But few believed he could do it, not even Del. It wasn't about his talent. Steph was highly skilled. The problem was his size. He was always the smallest and skinniest kid on every team. His jerseys were oversized and hung off him. When Del played for Toronto, the Curry family moved to Canada, and Steph and his brother Seth could often be seen shooting on the court during halftime of Raptors games. It was in Toronto that Steph started to blossom. His handles and shooting already resembled what they are today. Crossovers, behind-the-back dribbles, and advanced moves became second nature. At the time, he may have been the best young player in Canada. Being around NBA players and watching practices gave him a deep feel for the game, and he learned how to train like a pro from an early age. Steph knew he wouldn't grow to be tall or super athletic, so he committed to outworking everyone else. He had an insane work ethic. He played one-on-one with Vince Carter after Raptors practices and was often picked first for shooting competitions. By age 12, he was already beating NBA players in three-point contests. He played for Queensway Christian School and Toronto 5-0, leading both teams to titles. Even then, Steph excelled at changing direction, finding gaps, and launching deep shots. His basketball IQ was elite for someone so young. He always knew where his teammates were and never missed open looks. Though quiet and humble, if opponents tried to intimidate him, he'd flip a switch and become a baby-faced assassin, often dropping 30 or 40 points. After Del retired, the Currys moved to Charlotte, and Steph led his Christian school to 3 conference titles. In the state championship game, his team faced Greensboro Day, which used a box-in-one defensive tactic now used in the NBA against Steph. A 6 feet 6 inches athletic forward shadowed him all game, denying him the ball and using size to frustrate him. Steph played his heart out, but he finished with just 8 points and a loss. At the time, he was only 6'2" and 160 pounds soaking wet. Despite his skill and shooting ability, he didn't get any college offers. As a junior, Steph wasn't ranked nationally. As a senior, his status improved a bit. He was the 16th ranked player in North Carolina, the 60th ranked point guard in the nation, and number 300 overall. There was still hope. He received offers from 5 schools. Virginia Tech, where Del played, offered him a scholarship, but only if he redshirted as a freshman. Instead, Steph chose Davidson College to stay in North Carolina and start right away. A decision that changed everything. As a freshman at Davidson, Steph averaged 21.5 points per game. He led the Southern Conference in scoring and was second among all NCAA freshmen behind only Kevin Durant. He made 122 threes, breaking the NCAA freshman record for most threes in a season, and led Davidson to the NCAA tournament, where they lost in the first round despite his 30-point performance. Over the summer of 2007, Steph grew an inch to 6 feet 3 inches and entered his sophomore season averaging 25.5 points per game. Davidson went undefeated in conference play and made it back to March Madness. Most people didn't expect much besides Steph and point guard Jason Richards. Davidson's roster included marketing majors and future data analysts, not NBA prospects. Then came the Cinderella run. Steph dropped 40 points on Gonzaga, giving Davidson its first NCAA tournament win in 39 years. Against Georgetown in the second round, Davidson was down 17 at halftime, and Steph had only 5 points, but he exploded for 25 in the second half, leading them to a comeback victory. In the Sweet 16 against Wisconsin, he scored 33 in a blowout win. By the time Davidson faced top-seeded Kansas in the Elite Eight, Steph had become a national sensation. Kansas threw everything at him, but he still scored 25. Davidson lost by just 2 points. Over 4 tournament games, Steph averaged 32 points, 3.5 assists, and 3.2 steals, while shooting 44% from 3. He also broke the record for most threes in a single NCAA season, a mark that still stands. Steph chose to return for his junior season to improve as a point guard, his likely NBA position. That year, he led the NCAA in scoring, averaging 28.6 points, 5.6 assists, and 2.5 steals per game, and was named a consensus first-team All-American. despite proving he could score and shoot at a historic level. There were still major doubts. Before the 2009 NBA draft, scouts were concerned about his size and strength. Many saw him as a shooting guard in a point guard's body and didn't believe he could create or defend at the NBA level. The Minnesota Timberwolves had back-to-back picks at No. 5 and No. 6 and selected 2 point guards. Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn, but passed on Steph. Then came the most important 19 words in Warriors history when David Stern announced, with the 7th pick in the 2009 NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select Stephen Curry from Davidson College. Steph quickly proved that the Timberwolves had made a huge mistake. As a rookie,
7th pick in the 2009 NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select Stephen Curry from Davidson College.
Rookie, he averaged 17 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals, finishing second in Rookie of the Year voting behind Tyreke Evans. He ranked in the top 10 in three-point percentage, and made threes, and scored 30 or more, 8 times the most by a rookie since LeBron and Carmelo. And that was just the beginning. In 2010, Steph Curry slightly improved his numbers in his second NBA season, but it was hard for him to fully break out while playing alongside Monta Ellis, who averaged over 20 shots per game compared to Curry's 14. Still, Steph led the NBA in free throw percentage at 93.5%, a Warriors franchise record that still stands. Unfortunately, late in the season, Curry underwent ankle surgery, and what followed was a series of ankle and foot injuries that plagued him for years. In his third season, he played only 26 games, gaining a reputation as injury-prone. By the trade deadline, Curry was almost sent to Milwaukee for Andrew Bogut, but the Bucks medical team vetoed the trade, citing concerns over Curry's ankles. The trade still happened, but it was Monta Ellis, not Curry, who was sent away. Warriors fans were devastated at the time, but in hindsight, the Bucks doctors saved Golden State from making the biggest mistake in franchise history. In the 2012 offseason, Golden State offered Curry a 4-year $44 million extension. It seems laughably small today, but back then, it was seen as a gamble because of Curry's fragile ankles. Around the same time, GM Bob Myers drafted Harrison Barnes and Draymond Green, who joined Curry and second-year guard Klay Thompson. Under coach Mark Jackson, the Warriors began to form a strong identity. They started defending after years near the bottom of the league, and most importantly, they started winning. For the first time since the We Believe team of 2007, they made the playoffs. Steph thrived under Jackson, averaging a career-high 23 points and 7 assists per game. He also had a legendary 54-point game at Madison Square Garden. That season, he broke Ray Allen's single-season record for most three-pointers, made hitting 272 threes on 53 fewer attempts. Klay wasn't far behind, and Jackson famously called them the greatest shooting backcourt in NBA history. Many scoffed at the time, especially since Klay was still in just his second season. But the Splash Brothers nickname soon stuck, thanks to their otherworldly shooting. In the 2013 playoffs, the Warriors beat the Nuggets before losing to the more experienced Spurs. The next year, Steph again led the league in threes made, averaged 24 points and a career-best 8.5 assists, and was selected to his first All-Star game and All-NBA team. The Warriors finished with 51 wins and the fourth-best defense in the league, but lost in the first round to the Clippers. It was clear change was needed, so Golden State fired Mark Jackson and hired Steve Kerr. In 2015, Steph and the Warriors exploded. They led the league in pace, points per game, field goal percentage, three-point percentage, and assists. They were also elite defensively, first in defensive rating, second in blocks, and fourth in steals. Curry led the charge, voted as the top All-Star vote-getter, and won the All-Star three-point contest. He broke his own single-season three-point record, and the Warriors won a franchise-best 67 games. Steph averaged 24 points, 7.7 assists, and 2 steals per game, and was named league MVP. He sat out 17 fourth quarters that season because the Warriors were blowing teams out by such large margins. Even with all that success, critics still doubted Golden State's title chances, echoing Charles Barkley's belief that jump shooting teams couldn't win championships. But the Warriors weren't just a shooting team. They had a top-tier defense, anchored by Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, Andrew Bogut, and Klay. In the playoffs, they swept the Pelicans, outlasted the Grizzlies, and handled Harden's Rockets to reach the NBA Finals for the first time since 1975. In the finals, they went down 2-1 to LeBron James and the Cavaliers. Matthew Dellavedova played gritty defense on Curry and even outshined him for a brief moment. But when Steve Kerr inserted Iguodala into the starting lineup, everything changed. Golden State won 3 straight games and captured the title. Iggy was named Finals MVP for his defense on LeBron, but Curry could have easily taken the award. He averaged 26 points and 6 assists per game. He also set the record for most threes in a single playoff run. In 2016, the rest of the league still hadn't figured out how to stop the Warriors' pace-on-spaced offense, which ran smoother than ever. Golden State won an NBA record 73 games in the regular season, becoming the best regular season team in history. Steph broke his own three-point record again, this time sinking an absurd 400 to threes. No one else had even reached 300 in a season. He led the league in scoring with 30 points per game while shooting 50% from the field, 45% from three, and 91% from the free throw line. He became just the 7th member of the 504-090 club and was named the first unanimous MVP in NBA history. The Warriors were title favorites and rolled through the playoffs early until they fell behind 3-1 to the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. Klay Thompson delivered one of the greatest shooting performances ever in Game 6, and Golden State came back to win the series. In the finals, the Warriors took a 3-1 lead over the Cavaliers, but then Draymond Green was suspended, and LeBron and Kyrie turned into super. The Cavs made history by becoming the first team to come back from a 3-1 deficit in the finals. Steph was dealing with a knee injury and couldn't consistently get to the rim. In Game 7, the moment that defined his struggle came when he couldn't shake Kevin Love on a crucial possession. Golden State's 73-win season ended without a championship, and the jokes and memes were relentless. But the laughter stopped when Kevin Durant announced that he was joining the Warriors. With KD added to the core of Steph, Klay, Draymond, and Iguodala, Golden State became unbeatable. In 2017, they lost only one playoff game en route to a dominant championship. Many believed this team, with its unmatched combination of shooting and defensive versatility, was the best in NBA history. Durant rightfully earned Finals MVP, but Steph was outstanding, averaging 28 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists with an absurd 66% true shooting percentage, higher than any playoff run by Michael Jordan, whose best was 60% in 1991. The next season, the Warriors kept rolling, and although the Rockets pushed them to 7 games in the conference finals, nobody could stop them.